morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Wednesday, the 8th of October, 2025. Starting off with the synoptic midnights last night. I see high pressure now centered out over the continent in that area of high pressure that had been ridging up from the Azores, moving a little bit more to the north and holding off some of this new low pressure weather coming in from the west. Pretty deep low centered off the east of Greenland there. That's still leading to some frontal activity in Norway and this fairly large cold front that's streaming down in our direction. Over the sort of Midlands, last night it brought some poorer weather to the north of the UK yesterday. By midday today, you can see that's passing over us and it is weakening as it's doing so. As it passes through, the high pressure funneling its way in again, and that's going to be the dominant feature for the next few days, certainly into the weekend. So just have pleasant weather for a little while longer. The SatPic, you can see evidence of that there, some fairly defined clouds here, actually thickening to the north of us from the direction in which it is tracking. So we can expect that clouds to thicken slightly, possibly reduce in cloud base this morning. Very light bit of rain associated where that front is, but not a great deal. It is decaying as it has worked its way down the country. So we're mainly just going to get the sort of lower cloud and maybe a small amount of drizzle in places. Looking at the rain prediction from the Met Office, you can see the occasional very light shower, but actually nothing in our area. And then by early afternoon, any evidence of that front has passed and clear into the rest of the day and the evening. Now the Odium TAF, that is summing it up here for us, 240 degrees, 5 knots for wind. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers, broken at 1,700 feet. So I think that's sort of the best we can expect today locally. But between the hours of 8 and 5, local 6,000 meter visibility, rain and drizzle broken at 1,000 feet. There's also Prob 30 in between 9 and 3 local time of 3,500 meter visibility with rain and drizzle scattered at 600 feet, which is more or less what we're seeing at the moment. And it does appear to be luring somewhat in height from the north, but becoming between the hours of 4 and 7 local time, scattered at 2,500 feet. Farnborough, so they've got similar wind, 260 degrees, 4 knots, very, very light west-northwesterly. Their best would be visibility of greater than 10 kilometers, broken at 1,800 feet. And the tempo between the hours of 8 and 4 as well, 6,000 meter viz, drizzle broken at 1,200 feet, and a Prob 30 between 7 and 3, 3,000 meter viz, drizzle broken at 800 feet, becoming slightly more northwesterly and 10 knots later this morning. So it does appear that it's going to be slightly poorer this morning, but around that early afternoon to late afternoon mark, depending on how it does improve, we should see a rising cloud base. Spot winds to the south of us, variable at 5 knots, sort of flying heights into the northwesterly around 5 or 10 knots as well. Locally on the ground, we've got looking at windy here, westerly and west-northwesterly flow across the airfield, fairly light. Looking at the local Met Office forecast, no more than about 3 or 4 knots today, maximum gust just shy of 10. Interestingly, they're showing lots of clouds, sort of indicating lower cloud until about 3 o'clock. So hopefully it clears a little bit earlier than that, and a temperature of around 15 degrees. So the webcam on the south side at the moment, looking west, you can see this lower level layer here with some gaps beginning to appear. If we just refresh that now, see how that's changed. A little bit of blue now appearing out to the west. So shoot, almost flyable out there at the moment. We're at temperature at the moment of 11.7 with a dew point of 9.6. Now looking here at the sky side point forecast for Lasham itself, Fairly poor initially in the morning with a cloud base of sort of around 700 or 800 feet, clearing or beginning to lift at about midday, and remaining that way and for the rest of the day. Looking at the cloud distribution chart here on Top Meteo, starting at 9 o'clock local, what we can see here in our area is some quite thick autocumulus, which we can see on the webcam there. To the north of that, there is the below 1,000 foot cloud. If we run this through, we can actually see that tracks in and actually looks to be deteriorating before it gets better. And it should better in our area by sort of 12 o'clock local time, and then clearing behind. Possibly with a little bit of cumulus, potential for, if that does clear in time, a little bit of sort of weak local soaring, and then blue into the evening and night, and that should continue into tomorrow as well. No times based on the forecast, some local flying, possibly time, but local soaring, there's nothing there to affect us. We don't usually see. And if we move on now to glider bookings, we have two K21s on booked instruction, and a K21 for the casual list. There's also K13 doing trial lessons, which we may or may not happen depending on when this cloud base increases. And there is plenty of single seater availability. There's three on the casual list, and we require an instructor if anyone's around to help. That would be greatly appreciated. And the simulator is available as normal. One movement today, Beach 200 departing at 11 o'clock local, and they'll be requiring a displaced threshold, so they'll be going from in front of the launch point caravan. Reminder as well that we're now 1 week into SPL rules. I think most people have been pretty good so far, but if you have any questions or aren't sure if you meet the requirements to fly solo, please do come and find me. I'll clear that up. So in summary, we have a decaying cold front approaching from the north, bringing low cloud throughout the morning. We like it to clear early to mid-afternoon, and we have a light northwesterly flow across the airfield. We'll be operating runway 27 today with cables on the grass to the south. A reminder, please, instructors, do not brief at the front of the queue. As always, do not land or taxi across the disused runways shown in red. And there's our airfield set up to finish with the winch to the south of the main runway, and they're returning from the heart. That's all from me this morning. We'll see you out there shortly. Have a good day and keep it safe. Thank you.